IVM.
Hello there.
Hi.
And, welcome to the new year. This is our first recording for the new year.
2020.
Yes.
First recording, not the first
Do I
podcast.
sound like I have that 2020 energy?
Maybe we are... Fuck off. Maybe we are speaking from the past, future. I forgot it. Back to the future. Anyway, yeah, welcome to the new year. And how have you been?
I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, I have a disclaimer from here on for the next few episodes at least, for whoever's, and I'll say it in every episode. I have been out of therapy for 9 years. For 9 months. I've been in therapy for 9 years, and I was feeling so good about myself that I've been out of therapy for 9 months. But things have got bad again a little.
And
so
what are the triggers? What
are
were the triggers?
Sometimes, the thing is, I can't even say the word anxiety anymore without its meaning being watered down. Because I get it. And I'm not comparing. Everybody has anxiety. Everybody has like this. But I feel like I need to go back. And my appointment for the first time in 9 months, I'm having to go back tomorrow. So I'm feeling the burn. I'm also not feeling the burn.
But
because
like,
you know
it's
what?
natural, right?
A large part of accepting it is that you have to constantly work on yourself
Yeah, it's a
for the rest
lifelong-
of your life.
100%.
So in a way, I'm okay with going to the therapist.
It's like
but it's just bumming me out. And I'll tell you what the disclaimer bit is. You all will notice, especially the listeners, that I tend to trail off into when we are having a conversation. Let's say we are talking about pizza. Let's say we are talking about pizza, right? I might start talking about pizza, but in the next 3 to 4 minutes, I am talking about water on Mars. Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm just suddenly having a tough time forming sentences, saying sentences. Also, sorry, I started with a very me. So before I get more into me, we have lovely Madhuri.
Hello.
Madhuri, our
And we'll come
producer.
to why. And by the way, this is the first time we have a guest. So,
Yes.
Yes.
Madhuri, our lovely producer.
Madhuri on the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I feel really glad that I'm the first one to be the guest
So are
on
we.
Popped
GAYBCD.
your GAYBCD cherry. But long story short, I trail off a lot. Please feel free to just go, Farhad, you're trailing off. Because I am having a tough time
Focusing?
not only focusing. One of the symptoms I feel of anxiety is I want to say 50 things in 5 words. You know what I mean? And suddenly I get stuck. So I start hyper explaining. And the next thing you know, the more I hyper explain, the more I keep digging into some other zone.
yeah.
And I have no idea by the end of it. Sometimes I just blank out even. So bear with me. Have some sort of a code word. If I'm trailing, just bring it. Farhad, stop it. Just, I don't know, yell at me. Or,
How is that a code word? Like,
That's
you already said
that's
it.
literally like order, like Farhad, stop it.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, then just say something. What is something I really hate? Say wet bread.
Wet bread.
Wet
okay.
bread.
Okay.
That's
All
my
right.
that's
Okay.
my
Sure.
code word. Yeah, wet bread, and I will know. Oh, okay, wait. I need to take a break. But yeah,
I have something to ask you because we are going to talk about what we decided
Yes.
to talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that the happenings around you also affect
absolutely.
you personally?
Absolutely. Do you want to first tell us what you mean by happening around us?
Anything, the political scenario right now, so many people on the streets protesting.
Yeah.
You also thinking, what is my role? What is my stand and take on this?
Yeah.
You fighting with your friends and families.
Yeah.
Because people are
Absolutely.
divided on the views and...
this.
No, one of the biggest things is, first, we as, part of the queer community, we are expected to, obviously support a certain side of the narrative.
Yeah.
Sure, I get that. But there's a lot of insensitivity when it comes to not being immediate and urgent and now and abhi aag laga do, sort of, I don't think there is any strategy to understanding what someone's opinion might be. And I think that is why all of us, we thought, let's talk about how personal politics is so important for us as a community. And how, again, I'm by no means, I'm no expert. Like, I don't understand politics from scratch, except for, like, my basic understanding of politics is pro-choice. Like everyone should be able to live the life they choose to,
Yeah.
and that's about it. And for me, that's like literally the the one guideline and path that I can follow when it comes to judging what's right and what's wrong. But in this course of things, there are so many things people are being guilted on. Like, why haven't you? Why haven't you spoken out enough? Why haven't you said enough? Why haven't you, marched the pride? Why haven't you attended the pride party instead of going for a straight party on pride party night?
Because I hate crowds.
No, but like,
Is that a valid?
No.
I'll tell you what.
No,
right?
so the question is not why didn't you go for the party. The question is why you attended a straight party instead of the pride party, where you're not supporting the
I'll
queer
give you
community.
an example. Day before yesterday, and I don't know if this there are so here. Okay, I'll just start with your question first, which is any of this anxiety coming from that? I definitely think so, because I don't want to identify as apolitical, but I'm just going to wear my heart on my sleeve and tell everyone, and I've said this before, I don't vote. I feel like because I don't vote, I don't have the right to complain. Is the logical thing, right? Today, if RA colony ka jhad gets cut, I feel like I did nothing to, like, I can't complain. That's going to happen because these are the people in power, and I had that one vote of mine could have decided. I get it. And now I'm not going to I've done it in another episode with Cyrus, but I'm not going to get into why I don't vote and stuff. But you know what? For me, what happened was this week, at least that week of the protests and everything was extremely hard to watch because I was not in a good mental health space already. At no point is whatever I'm saying, because my mental health was bad, is justified that I was. But the thing is, I am literally watching this unfold on my phone all day. I am watching people come together. I'm watching people stand together and fight against something that I know even affects me.
Yeah.
Leave alone, I'm Parsi, does the CA, NRC affect me and all of that. Like, on that level also, I'm starting to think of all of these things. But, the age-old saying, injustice to one minority is injustice to all minorities. So that sort of started with that. Then I started feeling this immense FOMO of like, oh my God, why am I not this person? Why is it that it is so tough to me? But I also need to paint a picture. I'm going through a time where it's ridiculously hard for me to get out of bed. It's ridiculously hard for me to go through 24 hours without wanting to kill myself. I don't want to be an alarmist, but that's where I am right now. Again, I'm back into my full blow of anxiety, suicidal thoughts, all of that. And then something outside of you happens on this scale, and you just have like this multiple cracks that you keep slipping into that, oh my God, I need to not worry about my mental health and I need to do because everyone is doing this, and I want to, right? I'm watching people sing, I'm watching people come together, it's a great feeling to watch all of this in some way. But what you said earlier, that I also noticed so much shaming happen to people, especially celebrities. And I get to some extent why that does happen. Today, if someone pulls a Priyanka Chopra down for, you have no spine, the new... like when RA gets cut, the lungs of our planet and the lungs of our colony and the lungs of our city. And then the new jingo, this time I hear constantly spineless. How do you spine? How do you spine? I started feeling like, wait, if these people knew my reality, that I did not. I had the option. I sat at home and I watched that thing on Netflix, Who Fucking Cats. Never. What is it?
Don't fuck with cats.
Don't fuck with cats. I literally, while the protests were happening, I sat at home and I binge watched like 3 episodes of that. And like I kept thinking like, oh my God. Like I should be there instead. But here I am watching Netflix. Who am I as? It made me question me so much so to a point that it did affect me mentally even more. I'm just...
there is this video on Quint where all these celebrities who are actually protesting, they have come together to discuss that why is Bollywood silent and should we give them so much onus to speak up every time. So I think the public, like as a public, I would want the Bollywood, the industry to speak up, क्योंकि फिर इस पे वो लोग films बनाते हैं. Then they become the front face of it, and there is so much jingoism. All their movies have been about country. So I'm like, when this is happening to your country, you should speak up. But if you watch that video, it actually tries to understand your point of view. कि अगर कोई नहीं बोल रहा है तो क्यों नहीं बोल रहा है. So I don't know the name of this director, but the person who made Article 15, he says that actually if I was Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan, तो मैं नहीं बोलता. क्योंकि उन लोगों के एक दो statements की वजह से ही their movies have been pulled down. People have threatened to kill them. So they should not take that on themselves. So then I was able to understand it from multiple perspectives. And when you come to the idea of shaming, so I have been attending protest in Mumbai, and then when I went to my hometown, the idea was to mobilize people there. So the first thing that I put out after Mumbai protest was, a lot of people are saying कि trend है इसलिए बाहर आ गए protest करने. They don't even know. So I said, at least they have come. That means they're ready to have a conversation. Let's have the conversation instead of shaming someone.
Exactly.
And I have a friend who's also going through mental health issues, and he also asked the same thing on one of our groups, that because of my mental health, I'm not able to protest. I don't know which guilt is more. So another friend had a very good reply to that you weigh out your guilt. If you if you think that you would be more guilty of not going out there, then you put in some efforts and go out there. But if you think that your mental health is your priority right now, you have to take care of yourself to be able to participate in the longer run.
So that's what, like, I don't want to name who said it because I don't want to misattribute it. But there was something that I read which made so much sense, which said, it's great, it's beautiful that we saw, especially when it came to Bombay, right? Like Bombay, the way people turned out, the way the protests happened, the way the police handled the situation, it was beautiful. Now, that's great that it happened. But remember, this is a spark. It is just the beginning. If we are in just for the start, then we've lost the fight already. And to that, I just want to say this, that if it's a long journey, if it's such a long journey, allow a person to join the journey when they are comfortable. And that is something I feel like we don't give people enough leeway, enough chance, enough room to even identify your own politics. There are so many people who, why is everything black and white? I genuinely, and this is one of the things that I used to question when I was, reading about why Hillary Clinton lost. I was always a Bernie Sanders supporter. But why Hillary Clinton lost, in my limited understanding, was because she turned Trump's supporters into the others. And that's not how you win. The way you win is by creating a dialogue. The way you win is by creating a dialogue with your opposition so that they understand your point of view. Is that happening? No, that's not. Because there is such a wide divide between these two factions where I believe X, I believe in black, you believe in white. Because we believe in two different colors, we cannot look each other in the eye and have a fucking conversation where we even understand the other point of view. There is something called fiscal conservatism that maybe may make sense. And I'm not saying I stand for it. But fiscal liberalism versus fiscal conservatism, there are two sides of a coin which require a dialogue to understand two different points of view. Do we allow that? I don't think we do. That is our biggest failure as a society today, because we are so consumed in my point of view and my voice and what I want to say that there is no dialogue anymore.
You said the word consumed. And we are, like, I wouldn't say we are a self-involved individual. I don't know. That's the kind
society,
of time. But what about the confused? I'll tell you why. Right today, I feel so confused because this is the first time my parents, if they wanted the news, they turn on 2-3 channels in the 80s and 90s, and this is where they get the news. They get the newspaper. Today I get my news on Reddit. I get my news on Twitter. I get my news in the newspaper or e-papers or however, or Facebook, or someone shared a link, or someone shared a story. Like, I know everything that is happening related to this protest, right? For example, the UP police apparently horribly raped a few minors. See, I know these things and I feel and I don't want this sitting in my house, I feel just the level of anger that I guarantee you that any person who's at Azad Maidan yelling, I feel that much level of this. But I am so confused. I am so confused because today, like you said earlier, oh, people are giving roses to like cops and you know the cops, and then suddenly there's a whole band of like people either on Twitter or on Facebook who's like, you know what? Don't romanticize the notion that this because UP cops and Bombay cops are different cops, and I'm like, okay, there's in that. I saw something yesterday that really made me question this general. How much time or how much energy, and see, whatever I'm saying is I'm not doing anything. Today, so much of my guilt came from the fact that I continued sharing memes, I continued sharing videos, photos, movie recommendations, everything on my Instagram. I did not make a single CAA, CAB, NRC, Narendra Modi is a Hitler, Narendra Modi and Hitler kissing in Klimt painting. I did not share any of that, which I get it. That could be my ghar pe baith ke activism also, but like I just don't have this conversation because I always feel I am at fault because I don't know enough, right? Day before yesterday, Padma Lakshmi, do you know what I'm about to talk about? She shared that, no. Padma Lakshmi shared that 2020 stop saying chai tea. You know that whole meme basically, like in 2020 stop doing this, in 2020. And there's this girl who I actually look up to. I follow her Twitter and she's actually at the forefront. I saw a lot of her tweets. They were about like during the protest, hey guys, these are emergency numbers. So I'm like so happy that with this person suddenly, because Padma Lakshmi said, stop saying chai tea. Suddenly this person attacked her tweet saying, you are talking about this, but why won't you talk about CA and RC? You don't have a spine, and literally like in a very harsh way, which I get. But here's my deal. Like the energy that is sometimes spent making people who don't feel the way you feel or the anger that you are harboring or that you are a silent spectator and your children, I've seen tweets like that, you know, today if you choose to stay silent, tomorrow your children will look at you as cowards. And these are hard things for me to read because I am that person. I'm not actively involved in any way in this thing that's going on, even though again, I feel like, I don't know if this is sounding like justification to you guys. Maybe you all can tell me or even whoever's listening. But I genuinely do feel emphatic about everything that's happening in the country. It's ripping me apart because I get it. This affects me. Today, let's say something as trivial as, wow, if the government is now shutting down internet, that affects me. Tomorrow, if they shut down the internet in Bombay, just before this podcast, Sunetro shared with us about how his biggest anxiety is if his Wi-Fi goes
lack of
away.
internet.
You know what
the one dependency I have.
These are real anxieties, and these are all the things that I felt like and on full flame for some odd reason. Just by sitting on my phone, going through Instagram, Twitter, you can't avoid all of this, you know. And at some point, I just kept thinking, hey, I think a large part about democracy is also letting other people be. You know what I mean? Maybe they are not choosing the methods to do what you did or choosing the this or whatever, but that doesn't mean that they don't know the means or they don't have the courage or the bravery or whatever it is. But this sudden slew of like, oh my God, you're a terrible person if you choose to be apolitical in a time like this.
No, it's not even about being apolitical. It's about being not political enough. That's the point. My discomfort today rises from the fact that, like, I've been told so many times that, like, I stopped attending the post-Pride March parties like 3 years back. I remember I was told that, I remember you went with two of your gal pals and you went to this other place. Basically, you spent your money at a straight enterprise and money that would have gone into the LGBTQ system. And I just wanted to tell that person, bro, I walked a Pride March. I have been out, open, out and proud, and maybe that's like the tiniest drop in that ocean. But fucking let me have a Cosmopolitan where it's tasty. Like, god damn it. Like, It's okay. I don't think there is a single way of supporting a community.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example, which really broke my heart a couple of days back. There are these two kids who I know from Calcutta, and I'm not going to name them obviously, but so they've been very active in this, in the scheme of things, and it's great to see the fire and the zeal that these kids have. But there was this parody article that was floating by, and it's a parody article about how BJP is now supporting a fraction of BJP's.
Transgender.
No, not that one. So there is a right-wing gay segment of BJP, like queer supporters, who are openly accepting members who will give up sex or something on those lines. And it's a parody article. These people basically read the headline and posted it saying, this government is a joke, this is that, this is this. And I'm like, take a moment. There is fake news on every corner.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not just this side of things that is putting out fake news. There is a lot of fake news about the government also. Learn to separate the two. There are facts that are alarming, no fucking doubt, but there are facts that need to be understood. But we do not take the time because it is so important for us to be on fire.
No, and it's
now.
a fucking
Be
rabbit
immediate
hole.
and be very urgent.
If I am not among the first 20 people who say, look what is happening,
and you don't
then you're
even
not
realize when you are doing it.
Yeah.
And you know what you said actually, ki, people just coming out and showing that anger on you.
Yeah.
So I would like to take Sunetro's take where he says that we need to have a conversation. I'll give you one example. When I went to my home and I'm talking about this with my father, I thought he would not approve of all this, and he turned out to be this pro person. I just shouted at the top of my voice. Then I realized, oh, he's my family. I need to talk to him. So if I have the same approach with other people where I think, oh, this is my family, I need to have a conversation. So then we sat down. I told him that elaborate all your points. I'll elaborate all my points. And we actually went through all the things. So he said that I do not support a particular party in power today because of the economy. But when you come towards the religion aspect, we are Sindhis, okay? So we fled Pakistan. तो उनके दिमाग में छपा हुआ है कि ये particular religion खराब है. He himself accepted कि I don't know what to do with this, but we have been conditioned since childhood to think like this. I'm 50-year-old, I don't know how to take that away. And I live in a state which has been full of communal riots, Godhra riots. And I live in Baroda. So Mandvi is a place, Mandvi, सबको मालूम है कि riots यहीं पे होता है. It's like a hub for riots. Old city, prestigious part of the city has become a hub for riots. So there I do not completely blame him because I understand his politics of location. All of us speak from what we have experienced. But I also think this is what Adrienne Rich, one of the feminists, she says that when I speak as a feminist, my feminism is still located me being a Jew. Okay, but still I live in a white country of white people. So when I look at other countries and women speaking from there, they're working in the kitchen, there are maids, they're cooking. And if they go on women's protest, women workers on the streets, do I say that their feminism is not the feminism? So as a feminist, I need to understand parts of feminism. Similarly today, even when I understand my father's politics, he needs to open up and understand why as a student, as a youth, we are out there protesting and how we need to support each other because it is unjust to few sections of society and we cannot let that happen.
No, and
sorry, how does it work, right? Again, please just throughout this episode, just think of me as the confused one who has no answers, right? What is it? There are these 4 pillars, of any democracy. And I believe your news is one of them, right? Your media is one of them. And then, I might be totally wrong. Are there any 4 pillars? Or I'm just making that up. There are some 4 pillars or something.
There are 3, there are estates.
Statues, 3 statuettes. I don't know. Something.
Estates.
But you see, it's so obvious, right? The kind of news that is out there, you are being peddled lies all the time,
Across,
and then I'm like,
across
how
POVs.
can I even blame my parents, Today, while I know that, okay, it's the cops who are vandalizing stuff and it's the cops who are like, fucking, they've been given orders and they've got, all your internet companies have got like proper documented letters telling them you are supposed to shut this and, you know what I mean? But the content my parents consume, they don't show that at all.
Yeah.
They show that, oh, the students are fucking unruly. The students are this. So I just feel like nobody I can talk to has an
objective point of view.
I don't know if the word is puritanical. What's the word? Like, what am I? But nobody has a unadulterated objective.
But
maybe there are economists and like really brainy people who know how to put this into words. But I feel like this has gone into the realm of intangible now. Like where nobody's opinion is fully formed based on. It's just based on what content they consumed, you know.
But that's where a conversation is important, right? When there are two
but
extremes.
Then, even when it's a conversation, then trust me, I end up in these scenarios, right? So many times I am at a party where suddenly this conversation breaks out. What do you think? NRC, CA, and all of that. And I just feel like everybody's just throwing around half-baked information that they've got or and I'm not saying everybody is that. There are people who, again, I've been blown away by some of the videos I see nowadays of like people in the protest, the kind of things they say, it's outstanding, right? I really feel patriotic almost when I see some of the things that people are saying and realizing that, holy shit, this government is out to divide us based on this and all of that. I totally get that. But I feel like in a time where everybody's way to consume the information they consume is personalized. I feel like nobody has an one view.
But no, I would disagree. Like there is one view. Like there is this one thing which is very definite. Article 14, equality. वो deny हो रहा है, तो वो तो आप वो biased हो ही नहीं सकता.
Exactly.
Freedom of expression, freedom to protest. How can you deny someone? In my city, Baroda, there have been rallies where 3,000 people have gathered. They were all for CAA. So we went. कोई problem नहीं. We went to ask for permission. Silent protest, not even morcha लगाएंगे, just standing with posters. They denied. They said that you should come early. You know, it's not given on the same day. So we gave them the letter 4 days in advance. They did not give us the permission again. So we held a press conference, and today we said in the press conference that 12 students are going to students and activists. They'll just stand with demonstration. They did not allow people to demonstrate. They were already there 1 hour prior. They cleared the whole area. All the क्या बोलते हैं सारे छोटे छोटे shops shut down करा दिए, and there was so much fear in people, but still the protesters had come, the demonstrators had come, and there were so many other people to witness them. So all the people who were there to witness them, onlookers, they were also taken away in vans.
I get it, and see,
there's
no
bias
everywhere, right? Yeah. This what you're saying, even like Rangoli. Students
making Rangoli and they're detained and they're arrested.
See, that's where I want to, maybe we can tackle this after the break, but like my next leg of the conversation is, what if your government entirely disregards all these things that are happening? Today, I feel like somewhere they are just sitting like, we will still win this in some... I feel, again...
So then it's not democracy. Like, it's for the people.
Yeah, and one is that. Secondly...
What I'm trying... Wait, maybe I did not frame what I'm trying to say properly, but like, I'm saying today, like, if... Amit Shah, Narendra Modi know that, okay, if we do this, we will get backlash, right? They know in the end, nobody's going to go and lynch the shit out of them, right? This is all like just, how am I saying this?
I get it.
They'll still go ahead and do what the fuck they want.
This is what my father tells me, कि what will happen, protest कर भी लो, चलो, even if I agree to what you are saying, तुम्हारे protest से क्या हो जाने वाला है?
But नहीं करूँ तो कुछ नहीं होगा ना.
I know that.
So it's better कि मैं कुछ करूँ. And the thing is, it's after years that people have mobilized to this extent.
Exactly.
People used to call us armchair activists कि बैठ के सिर्फ बातें करते हैं.
Also, there is a reality that you're seeing in how many spaces a government that is so totalitarian in its approach is losing.
Yes.
And people are seeing that. Now that does not come from nowhere. That comes from objective thinking, and you question your beliefs. It comes from people who, and trust me, this is from, I grew up in Jharkhand amidst a very, very conservative town and people who believed in, religion and all of that. If a state like that is dismissing a particular regime, it's on the basis of conversion. It's on the basis of people who identify that ये तो मेरे को आके I won't I won't be in a good state if this government comes. Now, that means there has been some dialogue. I'm not saying that's the ideal case scenario or a case study to follow. But that means there has been some dialogue and some level of understanding, which cannot happen if we are just screaming at the top of our lungs and screaming when everyone is screaming. You scream so that you let someone hear. Otherwise, what's the point of the scream?
Yeah. I get it.
It's just noise. Five people screaming at the top of their voices is just noise.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, if you all can educate me on what... See, I'll tell you...
That's the point. Education. That's what we need to do.
Educate me in terms of what can I do if this is not the road I'm taking, right? This is not like... Oh, I'm not someone who's going to protest. I'm not someone who feels like my voice matters enough for this to change tides. I get it. Every person counts. I'm really trying to be a very zoomed out, holistic view of this. But like, what I'm trying to say is, I'll give you this podcast. Or with keeping it queer and this, a lot of times I had so much anxiety that I don't walk the Pride March, by the way. I don't know if you know this. I've only done it twice or thrice in my life. To be honest, it's only because I have some sort of oh my God, this place is too crowded. The older I get, I'm finding myself very uncomfortable in extremely tight, people-filled places. And genuinely, I don't want to again blame this on my condition or whatever, but protests are would be a very scary place for me. Not because of chalo, police maar rahi hai, and that all I'm fine with. It's just, oh my God, there are so many people, everyone's yelling, my anxiety. It really would cripple me in that sense. Almost like an agoraphobe who stepped out of his house and now he's in a protest. But what can I do? Apart from, maybe again we'll just go into a quick break, maybe,
and then get back
and help me understand this better, because I know that again apathy. I don't have apathy, so I'm not even going to say it. I feel everything everyone is feeling right now, but somehow I just can't get out of bed and wanna do all the things that everybody is screaming that people should be doing right now. Maybe you all can help me with that.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll be back after a quick break. See you on the flip side.
Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. You know what? Not just an amazing week. This is going to be an amazing year. We're looking forward to all the stuff that we're going to bring you in 2020. Please remember to fill out our survey, ivmpodcast.com/survey. That's going to really help us know what you guys want from us from 2020 as well, right? I mean, we'd really like to hear from you, so please do fill out that survey. It would be very helpful. Also, would like to thank our sponsors on the network this week. We have Intel, Cambly, and Storytel. Also, if you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's a week of milestones. We have a couple of milestones this week. Geek Fruit released the 300th episode this week. What a journey it's been. Join Tejas and Dinkar as they celebrate this milestone by talking about HBO's new hit show Watchmen. Actually, surprisingly, at this point, Geek Fruit is the second oldest show on our network, so it's definitely a show if you haven't checked out, please do check out. Another milestone that we have is it's the 50th episode of our Kannada show Thale Harate. So definitely do check that stuff out. And as for the rest of our regular programming, on Cyrus Says this week, Cyrus talks to actor Neil Bopalam. On IVM Likes, Abbas Alika, Ritika and Madhuri give their weekly recommendations, discuss their favorite short stories, and talk about our new storytelling show, Tapri Tales. On Golgappa, Trupti is joined by Nikhil Mahajan, a director who carved a niche in the industry through his film Pune 52. He elaborates on the craft of storytelling and what goes into making films for a living. On GAYBCD, Farhad and Sunetro talk about their experiences of having lived in different cities. They share how different cities have had an impact on their queer identity. On Litnama, Lakshmi talks to Sonia Thomas about her work at BuzzFeed, the meme culture, internet as a space for women, TikTok videos, and digital literary trends. On Tapri Tales, Madhuri tells the story of a mother who tries to understand YouTube trends and garners a dream of having her own YouTube channel. And with that, let's get on with your show.
And we are back. And we have the lovely Madhuri also today.
Thank you. I like to be introduced as lovely. I don't know why I do.
Lovely Madhuri.
No, but Naveen would also introduce me like this. Farhad also does the same thing. Now I've started feeling lovely.
You should.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey.
Yeah.
But
can I tell you something about Madhuri that totally blew my mind away? It's something I don't think I've ever told you also.
Oh, wow.
But I have this... You are like a sweet little girl, and then one day Madhuri showed me a video of her dancing, and I was blown away. It was the most un-Madhuri thing I ever saw. Like, she's pulsating and gyrating like Beyonce in Heat. I'm not kidding. It was really good to watch. So there's yeah.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
not that lovely Madhuri.
But like,
sexy Madhuri.
but that's what, people can be more than one thing. They can have.
I always like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming to exactly that point, answering again, who the fuck am I to give you any kind of feedback or any kind of guideline on how to be? But I feel like if you have if you feel something, say something. I feel that's the only thing that I can, in my limited understanding.
That's the thing, right? I feel like
and
today,
by saying something, I mean to anyone.
Yeah, but I feel like I somehow am robbed of having an opinion in a thing that I am not actively involved in. So let's say if, like I said, I'm not in any way politically, like, I know everything. I try to keep up world. I know what's going on, but I just don't. I have opinions also, but somehow those conversations tend to be so like I dodge them. I just don't want to have a, because I know my opinion. I'll keep it whatever. And again, like I said, I don't vote, so I feel like I don't have the right to this. But let's say that little bit where we spoke about people dragging celebrities incessantly online, right? I feel like I cannot shade them in a dark way in any way, because these are people who are actually out there doing shit. Whether it's shaming or publicly bringing down celebrities for you are fucking this spineless coward and all of that. And or even the people who directly in their tweets and through their Facebook, and see, a lot of times I know I just need to zoom out. This is all this social media noise, you know what I mean? A lot of times. And I'll tell you something I was about to say, which a lot of people will get pissed off, right? But on one level, I remember one train of thought was, I want to see, okay, one protest, big, 2 lakh people here, 5 lakh people there showed up in this city, all of that. But in my head, I was like, it's a protest. And if I'm little also that I know about the government right now, they're totally going to disregard everything. Today, Kashmir is still... we had a podcast on Kashmir, if you remember, on keeping it queer. It is still in the same state that it was how many days
4
has it
months
been?
have
4
been,
months, they still don't have internet. They still, all those things are still there. And it's totally it's spoken about. People are still passionate about it. But the government has just entirely disregarded every dissent that all of India collectively... Just hear me out, and please feel free to correct me, but just let me finish what I'm trying to say. Is like, so in my head, what I'm trying to say is, I wanted to see what will the numbers be the same? Will people still, or this is like online, right now, this is what's happening. I get it. Everybody's valid. Everybody's doing great things to scrap this whole NRC, CA thing. But coming to me, I feel like I do not even have a shred of any right to sort of who's doing even 1%. Like, I do not have the right to like say that, oh, this is going to die down. Let's see if the government doesn't this. I know these people are just going to dwindle and whatever.
But what do you want to do? That's the thing. How much can you, like, what is enough for you?
I don't know, man. In my life, it all just boils down to, which I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's a horrible thing to say that I'm someone who keeps my head down and just practice being a nice person every day. Like, I feel that in today's time, and I remember the guy from Pose, the one we all love. What's his
Billy
name?
Porter.
Billy Porter. He said, in today's time, just the act of being and the act of existing and the act of being nice is a political movement in itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I subscribe to that. I feel like, okay, I might not, hamari mange puri karo, azadi chahiye. I'm not that person, but I am just, I won't harm. I don't like discriminate based on gender. Again, the older I get, the more I'm learning, but I don't, on race, I don't do those things. And I feel, again, for my personal journey is such, I already live in a world of extreme frenzy. That is totally right. It has nothing to do with what's externally happening. For me, sometimes getting out of bed is a struggle. Sometimes just fucking making one PPT and sending out is a struggle. Whatever it is that is demanded of me, I am struggling with my own things.
Sure.
And then something happens in the world which requires me to...
No, forget which... Yeah, please go ahead.
I think sometimes when you say like this, the problem is you separate the personal from the political too much. For a lot of people, that personal becomes political and then the separation doesn't exist. For example, if this is happening to your state, to your house, to your people, you wouldn't be saying ki
I'm
personal
so happy you're
hai.
calling me out on that, because again, a large part of my anxiety comes from the fact that this affects me too.
Yeah.
Whatever is happening. Tomorrow they'll come for the gays again. Tomorrow they'll come for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is all it relates to me too, right?
But you also need to understand that you cannot fight all the battles.
Yeah.
You already have chosen your battles and you are fighting them. So you need not feel sorry. Like, because I was also...
Yeah, but then everybody guilts you
so that's what. You have to choose the voices that you let enter your ears and head. My point is always this. Everyone can't stand for everything.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If someone had to do that, they would have to be a full-time activist.
Yeah.
Which no one is, or they would have to be a superficial activist, which many people are. It is important to pick a cause. It's important to pick a cause and do it right, do it well. Would you just stay quiet and be ambivalent completely if your identity in this country was being questioned and being threatened to be erased? Would you be absolutely quiet and do nothing and just sit and watch? Would you do that? You
and
wouldn't.
Remember, this identity
So
is...
again,
do
if it's
that.
about personal struggles and everything, today, Sunetro, when you pose a question like that to me, my first thought is, again, I hate to be grim about this, but I am a part of a community where people kill themselves all the time. I'm someone who struggles with those sort of problems all the time. I just find it that the energy that I have to expend sometimes is literally limited to me getting up, taking a piss, coming back to bed for 3 days, 4 days. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm getting irritated with myself right now as I say this, that everything y'all are saying to me, I'm somehow relating back to how bad my mental health is or where I am in life right now. But I feel then beyond that, what is expected of me? I get it, right? Tomorrow, if the government is full on fascist, we are Nazi Germany again, like everyone's been doing. Which, by the way, can I ask for an honest opinion?
Yeah.
There has been so many Nazi references.
Yeah.
Do you feel it's...
Of course. There are detention centers.
I get it.
There are multiple people. I have a POV on that.
Yeah. Do you feel it's not in good light to compare tragedies? Sometimes I feel like...
Okay, I will not go into that question, but I will
because
say...
I said the word Nazi, I suddenly that's another thing I kept reading and I'm like,
what
holy
I will,
shit, is
however,
this happening?
say is that my reading of the situation has been, is this completely a gimmick to make your voters believe what they want to believe? And is this doable, really? The number of people that are in India, is this doable? It's not doable for the number of people that are it's not possible. But yes, there are the disenfranchised that will get affected, which is why we can't just see and say that ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता, ये तो मतलब एक gimmick है, ये तो vote bank के लिए जो उनकी whatever their politics who support it उनके लिए है, and just stay shut, because there will be a massive segment that will get affected, which is the poorest segment, which who don't even have it in them to come out and like unki rozi roti chalti hai. That's why they can't even come out and protest. It's the most privileged segment of the society that's
Who's
standing
doing
out
that?
and protesting.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? Yesterday after the protest, like we had this press conference and me and my friend, we were sitting at this Tapri and I asked him that,
Tapri
this...
Tales.
Tapri Tales. Oh yeah.
Plugging Tapri Tales over here.
Okay, nice. I have one thing to say there as well. So we were sitting at this Tapri and I told him, do you think this Masi from Tapri, she'll come to protest? Unka rozi roti hai, wo sab chhod ke nahi aayenge. But then he had something which was very nice of him to point it out, that we always blame people with privilege ki kuch karte nahi ho apne privilege ka. So if we think that we are privileged enough to raise this voice, I think it's important to do that
yes.
for us together. And talking about Tapri Tales, I have a story there called Protest Ki Kahani. So when you were asking that what can we do as individuals, I was in Mumbai and I did not know anyone in Mumbai. So I wondered if I should go to the protest, what will my take be? I still want to have conversations. So I kept reading up. So that I be very clear on what my take is, what my opinions are, and what are the sources of information. You need to keep on checking that. And what can I do from the position I have? So I have the position of a storyteller. Can I write a story? Now I cannot directly write a story on NRC and CAA, but I can definitely tell you about protest songs and protest culture. So I have a story where we have all the characters और वो लोग वो गाना गा रहे हैं, हम देखेंगे. और पाश की कविता है सबसे खतरनाक. And today हम देखेंगे has actually become the protest song that the entire country is singing. And now you want to call it anti-Hindu. One committee sitting to call it anti-Hindu. So you don't know what your one action, when done in certain space and time, can eventually result into. This is also a problem that we look for immediate validation.
That's what I was coming
to. वो नहीं मिलेगा. ये protest का immediate result है ही नहीं. It's leading to certain things, a very mass, like masses coming together, and it will be something that we are not forcing for now.
And when you say that, this is what my day is like, and that's why I can't. You're talking about 2 days. You're talking about 3 days. This is not about 3 or 4 days. This is politics is about a long journey.
Struggle.
It's about, like, for me, and again, I do not ever, like, I have done nothing in the large ocean of like LGBT activism except for just be myself and be very vocally and out there myself. That's the only thing I think I thought I could have done.
That itself is a statement.
When I entered a room, I wanted to enter a room as an out proud gay man. If it made people uncomfortable, sure, that would at least give me a reaction and help me have a conversation about it. Again, that's a very minor thing to do. But did I? Okay, is it something that brought about change in 2 days? Of course not. Of course not. We cannot expect one action to bear fruit in 2 days. We cannot expect that हमने एक Instagram post लगा दिया या फिर I attend a protest and hey, it's not yielding the fruit that I thought it would in 2 days. So I back off. The point is, change takes time. Change takes momentum. Change takes a critical mass. If you keep at it in your own way, that critical mass will reach. That's what I meant by, while we can get disheartened by this whole idea of, will these country leaders even regard this as something worth paying attention to? Because they'll do whatever the fuck they want. But if you look at the critical mass, in so many places where people are done with how inept a particular handling of economy has been. How inept that has been. So let's not even get into, I mean, sure, it's an important conversation to have about, sectarian politics and stuff. But the fact that a country, this government was chosen on the basis, sure, like religious politics was a major part of it. But a lot of people who I consider woke supported this government because they believed in this government's economics.
Yes. Very true.
And today, they do not believe it anymore. Because they see that it's been a fucking mess. So that requires critical mass. And we have to...
Can I tell you a funny anecdote? I went out for dinner with a friend to mini Punjab. and I ordered something. My friend ordered paneer something, and
So Farhad, when you're talking about food, you can't not talk about the dishes you ordered, especially you, since you love food
I
that
ordered a
much.
chicken biryani, which was awful.
Well, Bombay does not know how to make chicken biryani. I'm just going to put it out
Bombay
there.
doesn't, but Mini Punjab, by the way, doesn't know at all. Even though, I expected...
It's curry rice.
With the amount of, Sardarji sitting at the counter, I thought I was expecting some bomb-ass fucking biryani. But it was some gravy.
That's gravy rice. Yeah,
and I was
that's
like,
Bombay.
kya hai bencho? And the chicken was so overcooked. Sorry. Apart from that, I wanted kanda. I wanted kanda with my biryani. Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, bhaiya, kanda milega. And he went and he came back with a plate of white radish and cucumber.
Because
I said, bhaiya, kanda nahi hai. He's
like,
you know what he said? He said one word. Modi.
Oh my God.
He just said Modi and he went away.
That is kick-ass answer.
You know what I mean? No, kande ka bhaav badh gaya, we stopped serving
Simply
onions and all of
Modi.
that. He just said Modi and he went away to me. And I have such mad respect for him. But again, see, this is such a good example of how infinitesimally this government is affecting my life.
Also, this is a great example of how one person fearlessly, expressed his disappointment in a government by just saying
in a small
Modi.
way.
Just one.
Yeah.
That is enough, and that's what I'm coming to.
Yeah.
What is enough when it comes to expressing your politics?
Yeah.
I think we decide ourselves. And it's so important for us not to get trapped in this whole idea of, is my enough, is your enough
equal to my
equal
enough.
to my.
So it's okay if you cannot go to protest, but you ready to have this conversation itself is the first step. Then it depends on your ability and your decision on how much can I do or what can I do about it. But at the moment, while we are talking about economy, Bangalore में सबसे बड़ा protest हो रहा है. Asha workers, all of them are on streets because they have not been paid. So they're asking the government कि हमारा payment, जो हमारा wage rate है, उसको fix करो. So imagine your one wave of protest is not only about CAA, NRC, NRP. It is raising this awareness where people are ready to ask questions. And that questions are about your economy, about your day-to-day existence, about everything that affects you personally.
And asking questions is the...
No, but I feel doesn't it, with time, don't things get swept under the rug? For example, let's rewind a bit.
That's because
demonetization time, right? Suddenly, there was so much dissent even back then.
But there weren't protests. There were no protests. People were not on streets.
But people were very verbal about who the fuck is this government to decide suddenly overnight that this can happen, and suddenly we all are standing in lines.
That's why people who are not voting for this government today. That is the critical mass.
I think Sunetro's point is very relevant here when he says how much is enough. So people are saying now it's enough.
Yeah.
बहुत कर लिया, आगे शायद हम इतना नहीं बोल पाए. Now it's enough.
Yeah. That's the thing.
That is important.
Yeah.
The point is, if we sit and believe that करने से तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं, then
I get it, man.
Then fucking face it.
Yeah.
Your behavior, whatever behavior you choose,
which is
you have to choose the consequence.
Yeah.
If you choose a behavior where you don't want to say anything, you choose the consequence of not saying anything. Right?
See, that's what I already do, right? But this, I have resigned, I'm subservient to whatever. Because see, I again come from a point where I know that if these people want to play us, they will play us. These are we live in a time where countries have dissolved into corporations now. There are giant... Today, this is a trend everywhere, right? You have your Donald Trump, which makes you feel like, is the world crazy? You have your Modi, is the world crazy? You have Duerte in the Philippines. You have in Brazil, I forgot his name. What's his name?
Bolsonaro.
Yeah, there you go. These are all suddenly people who are elected with immense power, and there are talks about World War III and
that is very
Korea,
scary.
and you know what I mean? World War III has been trending
And today,
since yesterday.
Iran's, who's this leader, this religious leader of Iran, he openly said that we'll take revenge on America because America killed their general army person.
I feel like there is all this madness in the world, right? First, you need to make sense of that madness. Then all the madness happening in your own backyard and your own country, that madness you need to this. I just feel like I am not equipped with this because I'm so clouded by my own madness. You know what I mean? That I just feel like, but I get what y'all are trying to say to me, and correct me if I'm wrong. I need to talk about this, even if I'm not actively like this, but conversations.
If you see there's hatred somewhere, maybe you can.
And that's the thing, right? So many times my parents are very pro Modi, which is like in my head so weird. But I've never told them why do you? Because I did not vote. I did not vote. So I can't suddenly tell my mom what the fuck you chose the wrong.
But that's the thing. Now, if you are not going to, you consider. I'm not. You consider yourself a little more well informed than a lot of other people.
Yeah.
You consider yourself a little more. You understand two sides and what two sides and two objective perspectives. If you, what Madhuri was saying, if you are not going to willing to have a rational conversation with your parents about, do you see the truth? What do you see? Not even,
but do you see
the
I can't have that conversation.
Why can't you have that
conversation? Because I am in the wrong here. You get it?
No, you cannot just stick to that one point.
I can't.
No, I'm sorry. No.
I can't be that person who doesn't vote and then tell my parents who voted that you all chose the wrong guy.
No, you are not there to tell them you chose the wrong guy. You are telling them that ask the questions and tell your leader to be accountable. You are not telling anyone कि गलत को choose कर दिया गलत वो बात की बात है पहले अभी ये है 4 साल.
But then you can't.
I only know my parents will say horribly.
But then you're choosing again. Then you're choosing not doing anything, and then your enough is
sure.
And you are assuming there. Like my parents are also very pro people, but once you open the conversation, you never know what is gonna come from the other side, and you'll be able to retaliate and say certain.
Yes, I get it. Yeah.
Like I, there are so many people who, and it pisses me off when I see people from the queer community standing up for a government that is clearly never going to be on your side.
Yeah.
And my first instinct, and this has always been fueled by so many people talking on the speaking about unfriend people who support. But my instinct has been to actually try and understand what do you believe?
Yeah.
There has to be if I was friends with this person at one point of time, I'm sure they are not like dumbasses. I'm sure there has been a process of rationalizing what these people stand for. I want to understand that. And hence I used to unfriend at the drop of a hat till a couple of till about a month back, till when these protests started. And now I try and read into it. I try and understand ki kahan se, what
position are they speaking from.
I haven't been successful in, because it takes time. Just the way they might feel, why the hell am I not seeing their point of view? But I want to get to a point where I understand that.
But also you get frustrated. I understand that at this moment, right now, if I have to explain to you that this is what is happening, मुझे ऐसा होता है क्यों दिख नहीं रहा है इतने सारे लोगों को.
For example, abortion. Okay, abortion to me is a मतलब debate ही नहीं है. How is it? उसमें debate कैसे हो सकता है?
हाँ, exactly.
इसमें debate हो ही कैसे सकता है?
Yeah.
And when you have to explain that to someone, it's just like, oh God.
Yeah, even,
are you fucking kidding me? Are you not seeing that this is someone's God-given right?
Yeah.
But then you realize that everyone is a product of geo-social circumstances.
So when you say God-given right, you're already telling the other person that he's right in a way because he believes that God wouldn't want this. You know what I mean?
Not God-given right. Again, but everything is political. Everything is artificial. Nothing is God-made.
Yeah, and then, first of all, there's already 2, 3, 4, 5 sides to everything. And then comes in like the media and everything. And they make like these other fucking... It almost feels like, those bachpan mein used to enter that house of mirrors.
But I think where we've come to, and it's a little dangerous, and it scares me sometimes, is that... with the internet, with the stretch and reach of the internet, we are looking for a truth that is most convenient to believe. We don't take, and this is both sides of the of the belief systems. We never take a moment to question our own belief.
Yeah.
Whether everything that we believe in has a loophole.
Yeah.
Whether if I believe that if I was a Congress supporter, I remember everything about Congress was good. But today, I feel like I've evolved a little more to say that ye bhi chutiya, wo bhi chutiya. But kaun chota chutiya? Like, you know. So if I do not understand politics at all. If I can come to that point, I maybe through conversations, I can maybe have that conversation with someone else to be able to question what's right and wrong in the world. Like, let's not get into politics, but अच्छा क्या है बुरा क्या है वो तो मतलब it's not so complicated.
No,
that is also subjective.
I'll tell you what, I recently, your Hassan Minhaj, you know all the grief he got for just giving CANRC a 2-minute quick comic roundup on his show. And first everyone was like, yeah, Hassan Minhaj is going to do an episode on this. And he kind of very obviously used that as clickbait. But regardless, he did mention what's happening in India, and then your Twitterati just went loose on Hassan Minhaj.
Yeah.
Oh, you're terrible and you just this, fuck that. But I saw that episode and there was something that stuck with me in that, almost like it was something my therapist would say to me. But basically he talks about how we live in an age where, let's imagine your brain or your skull is a browser, okay? And you have right now got 10,000 tabs open. Yeah, because let's say, okay, we are not talking about CNRC. It's not happened. We are not talking about all the terrible things happening in China. We are not talking about whatever. All these things are solved, right? Then we are thinking about climate change. It never ends. Like literally something to stress about. There'll always be something on a global level, something to be stressed about, right?
Yeah.
He said, close the windows and just whichever windows you choose to keep
No,
open.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Choose your fight.
Yeah.
But stand. My thing is this:
stand for something.
Stand for something.
Yeah.
If you are a human being that belongs to the world,
Yeah.
and if the world is not a perfect place, find that one thing that you can do to bring it closer to a decent place to be in.
I have a podcast called GAYBCD. I'm done.
That's fair.
That's my contribution.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That is also a contribution, definitely.
Yeah.
I see it
Yeah.
like that. What the hell?
Yes.
I do my shit.
So I mean, it's just that I feel like apathy is something that's the only thing I judge. Being apathetic. How can you be apathetic in a world that is going down in flames?
And
Can
again,
I tell you
this is-
something when you said no good or bad? I
Yeah.
think this is one thing which holds true for everything.
Yeah.
Insaniyat, sahanubhuti.
Yes.
So this is what we did when we were not allowed to protest. So some students suggested कि लोगों को कार्ड देते. Greeting card तो कौन मना करेगा ना? So actually lots of students from fine arts, they said for 2 nights straight, they made cards and just one पूरा paint करके बस एक ही letter लिखा है, दया, सहानुभूति, इंसानियत, अहिंसा, और पीछे लिखा था Happy New Year 2020. Just imagine if that one word strikes in your head, you will be standing up for something.
Yeah.
कि नहीं, ये इंसानियत के तो against है यार, ये नहीं करना है.
Yeah.
I think that is very true.
And like I think we've come to a point where we should wrap this discussion. But my tuppence worth is this. Exactly what Madhuri said. Stand for something that you really, really believe in. Don't be apathetic. But whatever you stand for, find your way of expressing that. Find your enough. Because everyone's enough is different. Everyone's way of, putting their politics on the forefront is different. And let's identify and be tolerant and be accepting of the fact that everyone has different bandwidths. And that's when if we are fighting for a world where we want the government to be accepting and we are not accepting of a person whose bandwidth is not the same as mine,
Yeah.
fuck, how hypocritical are we?
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think that's my only thing that I would say. So
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
I actually do feel better. This is the first time I felt like, because who do I talk to, right?
Yeah.
Again, I'm recluse, hold up. this whole thing is happening in the country and I'm just seeing it from the confines of my bed, and I'm feeling this huge disparity about how I'm not, again, maybe apathetic, maybe how I am apathetic, and how I'm questioning who am I as a person, because this particular whole CA, CAB, NRC, like it literally brought all of that on the force. So to go back to your first question you asked me when we started this podcast was, is my stress related to it? I actually would attribute like 20% of my stress, because it made me question, because I know how this affects me. I know how this can affect me. I know how I'm not doing enough. I know how I'm trying my best, but other people might not think that. And I'll be very open today. I know that some of the things I've said on this show, I can get a lot of flack for it, right? Like, oh, can you choose? Like, how can you choose to be apolitical in a time like this? Is a sentence I've read 50 times. And 50 times I've questioned, Farhad, how can you choose to be apolitical in a time like this? But I just feel like I don't know. Thanks. Just thanks for like talking to me about this. I'll tell you the funny thing. Sorry, but it was so weird. I have a certain set of friends, and none of my friends were in this protest. Nobody was like, we not even discuss it. Like, oh right, it's something that's happening, and we not even this. And I one day was like, as a joke, I was like, hey, Chal, you want to go for a protest today? And he was like, are you mad? Who's going to go for that shit? And, in my head, I got angry at him. And then this is such a weird feeling to have, because here I'm saying all these things about how I'm apathetic. I wouldn't do that. I said it as a joke. Chal na, there's something happening. Bandra, Carter Road, let's just go. It's right here and all of that. And my friend said something to the effect of, I don't believe in all this democracy shit. Our government should be privatized. Just fucking...
My God.
You know what I... Wait, hang on. So I had reason to be like pissed off. Right? If it was left to my friend, he'd introduce one-child policy in India. He's one of those guys. Amazing person. Okay? But like...
I have a point of view on the one-child policy, but I won't, let's not go there.
What I'm trying to get at is... This was confusing on every level for me. I am not doing enough. I have a problem with someone else's opinion, which is either pro or anti also. I have like some sort of, and I'm like, but I don't have a say in this, because I myself am not like actively doing anything to change anything or bring about a change. So thank you for talking to me about this, because this is the first time I've been able to at least try and talk about what I've been feeling through this whole, and
I would also like to add one last note to this. I myself have been stressed. We were home for 7 days. But that 7 days I've been so actively involved, back-to-back meetings and protest. So I have been so stressed that I've not been able to channelize it. So I've decided that tomorrow I'm going to channelize my stress. Maybe not on streets. Maybe not going for the meeting, but through other artwork that I do. So that way you need to channelize your stress and just be there, in standing with people in solidarity. That is what I feel.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. I agree.
Yeah. Glad we got Madhuri.
No, I'm so glad you decided to kind of grace us with your presence, because
my God.
because it's important.
Lovely, Madhuri.
Multiple POVs are so important, and
I needed a third person on this, because again, apart from the fact that I was feeling horrible about how much everyone is guilt tripping anyone who's apolitical, in this case me, I was like feeling like, no, I need someone to keep this conversation going in a way where I at least know what to say. Because I don't know what to say in a time like this. I'm extremely confused. I'm extremely crippled, because I don't know what's right, what's wrong. I know what's right, what's wrong. I know what is being shown as right. I know what's being shown as wrong, and what is actually right, and what... It's the time we live in is such a fucking tough, confusing time to live in, where you don't know what is authentic, what is not authentic, what is happening, what is not happening, what is happening behind. You never know all these things to grapple your mind around it. So, that's our episode this week.
Do write to us. I mean, I know this is not an easy episode to kind of just like... There have been a lot of easy episodes where we sail by and there are nice things to hear. But this is... A lot of things that we've said are uncomfortable, and it's important to talk about uncomfortable things. So... voice her opinion.
Great. So the
Please.
next episode is about me talking about my mother, I guess.
Let's figure a lighter next episode then. Yeah.
But
okay.
Thanks for listening to us. We will see you guys next week. And if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcasts.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Instagram, and pretty much anywhere else on the internet. And if you want to reach out to me, I am Farhad Karkari on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And
I'm Glitterbugged, Bugged on Instagram.
And I am MAD_AD _AD13 on Instagram. And do check out Tapri Tales on IVM Podcast where I tell you stories.
Cut the line quickly. She's trying to talk about her show.
No, I just remember I should do that because a lot of people listen to you and I think it would be great because
it's a lovely podcast.
Guys, can I tell you a moment? Can I tell you a moment?
Yeah.
I was enjoying chart with a friend at Punjab Sindh House the other day and someone tapped me on my shoulder and said, "You have a podcast, right? I listen to it all the time."
Oh,
so I had my first human walk up to me and say, "Oh, I listen to your podcast." It was a great feeling. I got so happy. I ate 2 more charts after that.
But coming back to
Tapri
Tales, yes, I've heard it. It's beautiful. Oh, I love the work that you're doing. So please do check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So
see you.
Bye.
This is the amazing story of something awesome. Once, Chuck decided to start a podcast. And so he did. The end. Okay, that was a crappy story. But I've got some really cool stories over at my new show, The Origin of Things. On this podcast, I look at the stories of how brands came into being and sometimes evolved out of quite unexpected circumstances. And to make it really fun, I reveal the name of the brand and sometimes a category only at the very end. The show is 5 to 7 minutes per episode and perfect for trivia junkies and brand nerds, especially those with short attention spans. New episodes out every Wednesday on IVM Podcasts app or website or any podcast app or site that you happen to prefer. End of story, they lived happily ever after.
नमस्ते, मैं हूँ सौरभ चंद्रा
और मैं प्रणय कोटस्ताने।
जब महफिल खत्म होते होते दरवाजे के बाहर पुलिया के ऊपर हम दुनिया भर की जटिल समस्याओं को सॉल्व करने में लग जाते हैं तो हो जाती है पुलियाबाजी।
अब आजकल के अपार्टमेंट वालों ने तो कभी पुलिया देखी नहीं होगी, पर आप फीलिंग तो समझ ही सकते हैं।
तो आइए शामिल हो जाइए हमारी पुलियाबाजी में, जहां प्रणय और मैं एक से एक इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स की तह तक जाएंगे।
आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, बिटकॉइन, पाकिस्तान, मेडिकल एजुकेशन, करेंसी क्राइसिस, कभी हम दोनों के साथ और अक्सर स्पेशल एक्सपर्ट गेस्ट की कंपनी में।
सुनिए हमें IVM की वेबसाइट, ऐप या अपने फेवरेट पॉडकास्टिंग प्लेटफॉर्म पर हर दूसरे हफ्ते।